Let me have the privilege to
बाहुळे
welcome
सर, आपला आवाज फार क्लिअर येत नाही.
all the dignitaries, researchers, scholars, guides, friends.
इकडे रेंजचा प्रॉब्लेम.
At first, I invite Honorable Dr. Umakant Chanshetti sir to give his welcome speech on the occasion of this e-conference. Over to you, Chanshetti sir.
संतोष. हाँ सर.
Chanshetti who joined very stable. Hello.
सर आवाज आपला कमी येतोय. इंटरनेट कनेक्शन चेक करा.
सरांना अगोदर अनम्यूट व्हावं लागेल. सर अजून म्यूटच आहात तुम्ही. चंसेटी सर, तुम्ही अजून म्यूटच आहात.
माईक चालू करा सर. माईक चालू करा.
माईक आणि व्हिडिओ चालू करा प्लीज.
Are you listen to me?
Yes, now listening, sir.
Okay. Dear all the resource persons, organizers, and academicians, researchers, on behalf of Jawahar Arts and Science Commerce College, I heartily welcome all of you on this occasion of international conference on recent trends, challenges, and issues in science, social science, and languages for sustainable development. I am very pleased to welcome all of you, as today's need, as you know that the today's scenario for any kind of sustainable development, we are going to think, we are going to take the actions, and then we accordingly implement for this thing. So Global Foundation Solapur is giving this opportunity, so I am heartily thankful to Global Foundation Solapur and today's chief guest, whose we are eager to listen his speech, and Dean of Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, Professor Dr. Prashant Amrutkar, Dean of our Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. As he is going to inaugurate this international conference, and for this international conference, one renowned person who is going to deliver his keynote address, Professor Lal Mervin, Dharmasiri. He belongs to University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka. So I heartily welcome to Professor Lal Mervin Dharmasiri, and during this, the chairman of this session, Dr. Madan Lal Vinayak Rao Suryavanshi, head of the Department of Geography of our Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. So, the presidential speech who is going to deliver, that Dr. Praveen Saptarshi, a visiting professor of Salisbury University, United States of America. So, and so many resource persons are here. Dr. F.M. Nadab from Sri Mallikarjun and Sri Chetan Manju Desai College, Goa, Kankona, Goa, and then Dr. Uttam Patil, Rajarshi Shahu College, Rukdi. He is also going to deliver a speech in this international conference. So, up to here, technical sessions are also there. So, the organizing committee organizing this number of events, number of lectures in this international conference, because after this pandemic situation, all we are facing the so many problems and number of challenges are before us. So how we are going to overcome and again regularize all the activities in our higher education sector. In front of academician, it is a big challenge. And after this COVID-19 situation, till date, the colleges or universities are not going to conduct smoothly. Even examinations are upheld. In so many universities, examinations are still pending. They are not completing the examinations. So for that, due to such crisis, it affects on our higher education, that related to science, social science, and languages, and for all. And if the mode of education is not regularized, then the further process which depends on it, they are also collapsed. And again, we are worried how it sustains, how we meet with development. So to think on it, to discuss on it, it's our duty to focus and highlight and overcome on all these issues. And I hope that the renowned professor from Sri Lankan University, Dharmasiri, and our Dean, Dr. Prashant Amrutkar, and all the resource persons are going to focus and highlights on such burning issues. And definitely we shall overcome on all these crises, all these challenges, and again smoothly we involve in our academic and all the educational activities. And as per the educational activities are suffered, at the same time in society also the number of issues are there. The social science, when we are going to think about the social sciences, at that time we should focus on such issues which are facing by the common man in day-to-day life while he is surviving in the society. So once again,
आमचे गावचं बोलताय
I am
परत
thankful
मुद्दाम बोलतोय
to all the participants. Heartily welcome to all the resource persons for their valuable time and valuable guidance. Thank you very much and welcome once again. I welcome to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your to Prof. for it. Amrutkar, sir, over to you, please.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to thank the organizer, the principal of this Jawahar Arts, Science, Commerce College, Anadur, Principal Dr. Chanshetti, sir, for inviting me in this multidisciplinary international e-conference on such a important topic for the inauguration of this international e-conference. All the dignitaries, presentee, and the resource person, the researcher and faculty who are present over here for this multidisciplinary international conference on recent trends, challenges, and issues in science, social science, and languages for sustainable development. Organized by Jawahar Arts, Science, Commerce College, Anadur, in collaboration with Global Foundation Solapur. The resource persons of this important conference, Professor Lal Marin Dharmasiri from Sri Lanka, Professor Praveen Saptarshi from United States, and various other resource persons from the corners of this universe, and they are my dear participants. First of all, I would like to declare this international e-conference is inaugurated. When we think about the natural sciences, the natural sciences are talking about the human existence. how the human being is coming to exist, how it is survived. But about the social sciences and humanities, the social sciences talk about the conditions of human society, the person, the community, and the entire society. Their socio, political, and economic conditions. That's why the new era is the era of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary studies. That's why the new education policy also, which is coming to exist in 2020, also promote the study of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary study. So, not only human existence, but also the human condition. How human being is survive, how human being is keep into contact with each other, one society with other society, one nation with other nation, one community with other community, and one person with the other person. In this matter, the problem of sustainability is arise. So what is sustainability? Sustainability means the in Marathi that is shashwat, the tikau, means the development with human pace, development with just, development with the responsibility to whom the responsibility with the society, some responsibility with the whole human society. So the political policies, the social condition, the economic policies must be just, just to whom, just to the whole society, not to the particular class, creed, gender, but the whole society. So that's why we are we are eager to involve in the development process right from the beginning of human being. But now, after the globalization era in 1990s, we are very much eager about the development. But this development without human existence, without human socio-economic and political condition, without the sustainability. So we should talk about the sustainability. We should talk about the social order, the social responsibility, the common good, social awareness, social participation, decentralization of governance, social capital, local initiative for global development, quality of life, development with human face, equitable development, and the public-private partnership also. So that's why this sustainability is related to sustainable development, and sustainable development is a social process. It is not just a physical process, it is a social process. So we should think about the fruits, the outputs of this development, and it should be the fruits incorporated with the every unit of the society, from the urban to the rural, from the rich one to the poor one, from the younger one to the childhood and the elderly one, and the every gender, from male, female, and transgender. So this development should be incorporated, attract, and the connect with the each and every human being of the global society. So this it course and pace depends on the occurrence of certain social condition that can stimulate its development. So this sustainable development, the issues, the problems, and the challenges are all these things are related with human beings, and not about the physical condition, not about the physical development, but the socio-political, economical, psychological, geographical, and all types of development of human being, the human society, the each and every part, each and every corner of the human society, from developed countries to the developing countries to the underdeveloped and non-developed countries, from the G8 countries to G77 countries, from the American group to the Russian group to the non-aligned group. So from Europe and Western Europe to the Africa, to the Southern America, to the Asia, and all corners of the globe. So man is going to the Mars, but Mars is near to the man by the help of science and technology, but man cannot see his neighbor. Now the new societies arise, that is apartment culture. Man is apart from his neighbor. Man is apart from his near and dear. He is talking on mobile. He is searching on the internet, but he is not talking to his neighbor. He is not relate to his surroundings. So sustainable development is thinking about the human attachments to the other human beings. Not only human beings, but human attachments with the all the animals, the ecology, the environment. So I must think about your logo and your motto, that is Duritanche Timiri Jao, Sarva Sadharma Surye Pao, Joje Vantil Tote Lao Prani Jato, means the development of all human beings, all animals, all chala and achala things. That is the motto of sustainable development. That is the goal and object of sustainable development. And that's why sustainable development is related to the science, the new technology. So must new technology to relate to the human condition and human surveillance. And I must think that you all guys in this international e-conference think about these things, these conditions. At last, I would like to congratulate all these organizers and give best luck to the all speakers and the researchers who are joined in this conference. And at last, thank you very much for inviting me in such important conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inaugural speech. Now I would like to invite today's keynote addresser, Professor Lal Mervin Dharmasiri, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Very good morning to all of you. I'm Professor Dharmasiri from Sri Lanka. Dr. Umakant, principal of this college. Professor Amrutkar, dean of the faculty, and also who has made a very interesting speech today. Professor Saptasri Praveen, Dr. Suryavanshi, chairperson of the session, and also all the distinguished participants of this e-conference. First, I am thanking to the organizer, especially the president, Mr. Santosh Primane, who invited me to take part of this e-conference. Today, I'm going to speak about something related to geopolitical issues. Topic of my speech is recent trends in challenge and issues of geopolitical matters connected with Sri Lanka. Recent trends in challenge and issues. Is there any problem? Am I audible?
Sir, yes.
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, you are
Yeah. Recent trends in challenges and issues of geopolitical matters connected with Sri Lanka. Everybody knows that Sri Lanka is located in the South Indian continent. It has a long history of human occupation and has a rich and prosperous civilizations. Several rulers, including the empires, the kings, sultans, or regional level monarchies had been ruled in South Asia. During 15th century, the colonial had invaded the South Asia and ruled 100 years of. As resulted, most of the South Asian countries still persist parasitic economy and economic dualism. Here I am focusing to identify the change in geopolitical matters connected to the Sri Lanka and find possibility to emerging hub of South Asia, all the South Asian countries, that is India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Afghanistan, and Maldives, could identified as a resourceful but still struggling to develop their countries along with different development practices. Some of countries have been obtaining technical support, technical and financial support from the capital-centered oriented countries for their development. After the independence from the colonial rule, most of the South Asian countries leaning towards of Russia till the collapse of the Cold War. Then the move into non-alignment movement during the 1970s. After that, the international and external problems which were based on the geopolitical scenarios had been rising. Consequently, geopolitical harmony of the South Asian nation has been deteriorated. It's important to have a look at the salient geographical features in the island state of Sri Lanka and recent trends in the South Asia as a region as a whole. Especially consider the Sri Lanka as an emerging hub of South Asia, strategically located on the main sea route, and the potential for economic prosperity is higher with rich resource endowments. The country also shows a high human development index. So Sri Lanka, when you consider the location, the busiest east shipping routes is about 10 miles away from the down south of Sri Lanka. Every year, it is estimated that more than 60,000 ships, which include the 2/3 of the world's oil and about 50% of the oil containers, pass through this route. No other country in the South Asian region can match the geographical location of Sri Lanka. So in 1948, Sri Lanka had gained the independence just after the India. The country has been ruling different political parties in democratic way since the independence. All the successive governments had been paid their attention to develop the country with their own development models, which given more weight on foreign direct investment, FDI. The United National Party led conservative parties of the countries prefer to obtain FDI from the West. The other leftist party who came to power after that prefer to support from the East. The USA and India and Pakistan, etc., represent the West, and the China, Russia, and so on represented the East. 3 decades-long war with the LTT further weakened the geopolitical situation of the country. Earning from the domestic production had been dropped while increasing the expenditure for the imports, mostly for the war equipments and foods and other things. Consequently, poverty and inflation had been gone up. The country needed huge amount of FDI, foreign direct investment, to cover up the day-to-day expenses and balance of payments. It was difficult to survive without FDI in terms of loans and soft loans from the World Bank, IMF, Asian Development Bank, etc. Apart from the institutional loans, the government were being compelled to get more loans under the commercial backgrounds. Interest rate for obtaining commercial loans are much higher, but compelled to get more due to the widened balance of payment of the country. It is estimated that at present about 35% and 15% of the FDI has come from the China and India, respectively. Sri Lanka had been struggling to come up from the debt trap due to the indebtedness. So under this circumstance, China, who is the biggest FDI provider of Sri Lanka, has been involving in the making gigantic projects such as reclamation of the sea called the International Financial City, that is a port city, Southern Harbor, a few highways, and many more strategically important activities to develop in Sri Lanka under the Road and Belt Initiative. That's called Silk Road. The India also putting huge FDI for the infrastructure development, including the constructions of more than 60,000 houses for estate workers. So those who are coming from the India, they are settled down here. Or I think already knows the state workers in Sri Lanka. And they also invest the Northern Railway Project and oil refineries in Trincomalee Harbour, and many more projects of the country. So in addition, several multinational companies belongs to the Japan, Pakistan, maybe Singapore, are also being involved in infrastructural development of the country. The reality of these investment in terms of FDI revenue reveals the importance of the Sri Lanka geopolitical and geo-economic hub of Sri Lanka, South Asia. As I have pointed out earlier, the Sri Lanka is located at the center of maritime trade routes in the west and east, as well as the Africa, the Arab Eastern world. Waterways in the Indian Ocean have become the important for India global trade expansion. Indian oils are transported in the large quantities through the Indian Ocean. India understands that Sri Lanka as a security guard for its security is the Indian Ocean. China assistance to Sri Lanka has been increasing since 2014 to accelerate the constructions of China's Silk Road Silk Road project. Many projects are being funded by the Chinese government. So at present, the port of Hambantota in south of the Sri Lanka has been developed by the China, and now it's controlled by Chinese under the long-term lease. The port city project in Colombo is also a gigantic project under the Chinese project. Probably you know that there is a now heating debate about this one vessel is coming from China to Hambantota fort. The China vessel named Yuan Wong 5. That's a research-based vessel. So India, they are putting their attention on this vessel, and already they expressed their dissatisfaction about these vessels coming. That is these debates are going on. So let's see about something about geopolitics issues in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has two major geopolitical issues. First is growing the competition between the great power for strategical significance of Sri Lanka. The West led by USA, already I told you, the China and the other side, and the major powers. So on the one hand, from the government beginning to negotiate on the trade agreement with the major regional economics, the Sri Lanka and the Singapore has signed the free trade agreements in 2018. In addition, negotiations are going on FTA, free trade agreement with China, BIMSTEC, and with India. In 1998, India and Sri Lanka signed a FTA, free trade agreement under the SAFTA. And discussions are going on further to expand the agreements toward the comprehensive economic partnership agreements. Let's see the crisis of Sri Lanka. Everybody knows recently all the world media shows the situation of Sri Lanka. As I told you, the Sri Lanka faces the financial crisis since 2019. The current economic crisis is being emerged with the financial mismanagement, inappropriate political decisions, natural calamities, and decades-long war. As a consequence, the country has been experiencing in hyperinflation, forex policy, tax reduction policy, printing money, nepotism, corruptions, and many causes for the present crisis of the country. Further, the government banned the use of chemical fertilizers and attempted to 100% transformation to organic agriculture, which affected the livelihood of the farmers and agricultural revenues. Experts estimated that the yield could have declined up to 43% this year due to this fertilizer banning. Now it has been sold now. Yeah. In a country where the 70% of the people is directly or indirectly depend on agriculture. Today, the ground reality is that the people are cleaning up the lines of basic food items which are rationed. Violent social unrest sweep across the nation. Army forces are deploying, they handling these civil misfortunate. People protest against the ruling government. They protest to force to resignation of the former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his government. It was happened. Then the ruling power has been transferred to another leader, that is Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, who has no people's, I should have said that, who has no people's will. No people's will, but only parliament power. It's a game. It's become an endless story. Now I will come to conclusion of my speech. Sri Lanka faces a finance crisis since 2019, as I told you earlier. And also we have been facing severe socio-economic political problems due to the crisis, while superpowers are attempting to use the worst scenario converting into their power struggle. Sri Lanka is in between the superpowers and struggling to overcome the worst scenario by requesting US dollars to import domestic requirement, food stuff and other things. They are investing FDI, credit lines, and other means of support to the country. But many critics pointed out that they have a hidden agenda. On the one hand, India believes that the growing influence of foreign power in Sri Lanka is a threat to India's strategic security. Sri Lanka always paint the love-hate relationship with India. I don't know about years. So on the other hand, China has extended their support by providing loans, which is known as a debt cut of China under the circumstance. Sri Lanka would not be able to maintain, under this circumstance, Sri Lanka would have not been maintained sustainable development without solving these geopolitical issues. In order to achieve the sustainable development of the country, we must have succeeded in assuring the political stability, internal security, and economic strength, and so on. So, however, the recent geopolitical scenarios yet obstruct the possibilities for reaching the goals of sustainable development. Thank you very much for paying your kind attention to my speech. Thank you.
For having been shared your views about FDI and geopolitical and geo-economic issues. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite Dr. Madanlal Srivanshi sir, Head Department of Geography, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, University of Aurangabad.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Madan sir.
I'm audible. Yes, sir. I'm audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very warm welcome to all of you in an international conference organized by Jawahar Arts, Science and Commerce College, Anadur. Also, IQAC is the coordinator of Vishwas Mane sir, effectively working here. Also, Principal Umakant Chanshetti sir, and last lecture of this special lecture of Professor Lal Marian Dharmasiri. Is the very thorough personality in the field of the geopolitics and geographical studies also. So here present very renowned geographer and my mentor, Dr. Praveen Saptarshi sir. Also here present Dr. Prashant Amrutkar. After then, who has here present Dr. Nadab Sanjay Patil sir, and who has invited me, Mr. Musande, Dr. Kamble. Also here present Dr. Ankush Kadam sir, Fulchand Dudwate, and all my colleagues. So I am here for the only chair words. When I say listen carefully this lecture of Lal Mervin Dharmasiri, sir has criticized the condition of geopolitics in Sri Lanka. Especially here, focus from the independence of Sri Lanka from the 1948 to till today. What is the condition of Sri Lanka? How to grow Sri Lanka, and how many attacks on these conditions, especially in neighborhood countries. After then, what is the geopolitics effect on the Sri Lanka, especially Chinese superpower. Also, other hand, in USA also, how to connect this problem. So all phenomena he has the present here, especially here, say the multinational companies interference, after then FDI, how to condition criticize of their farmers. For example, the compulsion of the organized farming, all phenomena they have very specialized and very clearly defined here. Sri Lanka is very famous for the sea route. Sea route is the economical route also. We know this route, especially in South Asian countries. There are the Singapore, Indonesia also useful for the India. Same condition come soon in India. I don't know On this topic, I think we'll focus Dr. Saptarshi sir. What is the Indian condition in after 10 year, and what about this we aware, and what we responsible grow on this side. So thanks a lot for may I invite here, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your views. Now I would like to invite Dr. Praveen Saptarshi sir for a presidential speech. Over to you, sir.
Let me share one thing with all the audience present here, that the recent issue of Maharashtra Bhol Shastra Parishad Journal, Madan is also executive member of Maharashtra Bhol Shastra Parishad. So in that, there is one paper on Sri Lanka authored by my authored by me and my Sri Lankan brother Lam Mervin Dharmasiri.
Congratulations.
So yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
so it is published, and we will soon send the copy, the hard copy, to your university.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
So, principal and organizers of this conference, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many young friends of mine here, right from Madan or some Mane is there. I'm not taking everybody's name, but most of them are my young friends. And ladies and gentlemen, it is really, I feel really honored to give presidential speech in the event where the persons like La Marvin, then Dean of your university, then HOD of your university, Madan, Professor Madan. So they have spoken, and really it is a great pleasure and a great honor to comment on these people. Coming to the Dean, the speech given by our Dean, he has rightly pointed out that what is meant by sustainable development, and he has urged the human-centric development can be the development in real sense of the term. Yes, I agree fully with him, and I think that the research in various disciplines in science and technology, various disciplines in social sciences and languages should take up such issues. For example, in the name of development, we construct the 4-lane, 5-lane or 6-lane highways. Whether such highways act as the flyover bridge for the nearby villages, or they serve as the transportation route for those villagers. So this should be critically assessed by geographers, and geographers can give justice to such issues. As Professor Dharmasiri has pointed out, why the situation of Sri Lanka is very bad, because of there is a crunch, the economic crunch, and that's why there are so many issues. Now you can find that the people are standing in queues for basic needs like water, food, then even electricity is failure in many pockets. So everything is, even there are queues on petrol pumps or gas pumps. So everything is there. So I just pointed out that he used to tell us that India is big brother, but the same situation is going on in India. Only thing is that queues are not there, but uh, almost 40 to 50% of population is deprived of getting access to basic medical facilities, getting access to good food, getting access. So they are deprived of such amenities. Only thing is that the others who get all these things, the others means all the 100 people who have joined this conference, we are something between the best 15% of population in India. And this is mainly, this kind of disparity is there. Disparity, um, if disparity exists, there is democracy is also disturbed. And in India and similarly in Sri Lanka, most of the problems have been cropped up because democratic spirit is being ruined. So there, one president of Sri Lanka, although he has got thumping majority and all these things, but uh, he is expert in electioneering. Same thing is there. Both the governments there now, he has gone out of the country, but that past president was considering people of India as the voters only, not the citizen. Same thing is observed in India. We are considered as just voters, not the citizens. As a citizen of India, if you just cry against the government, you will be put in jail. So this is fascism. And if fascism is consolidated in our country, then what will happen? We know that we have the history of British period, we have history of so many Maharajas, though they were also fascist, and that's why our livelihood is uh, dependent on the wish will of fascist people. So that's why our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, in his while leading the struggle for this independence, he has chosen some values for newly built society in India. And those values are democracy, number one, then secularism, number two, and number three, the any developmental project can be assessed if the poorest of poor section of society is going to is getting benefited or not. So these are the important aspects of nation building as it was found in the struggle of freedom. Means now we are celebrating 75th year of independence, and also Sri Lanka is also um, celebrating the same thing. So in these long term, what we have gained can easily be demolished by the forces which are coming up and supporting fascism. So we should be deadly against fascist uh, things, and that's or the fascist government. And this is our responsibility. Once we understand with the study of sociology, with the history, with the understanding of science and all these things, if we know the truth, we should tell it loudly to the people of India. This is our commitment. Commitment from academicians should be there. And that was lacked in Sri Lanka. And that's why fascist rule came into being. Because that fascist rule was mainly based on hatred, not on harmony. Hatred means when LTTE surrendered, then after surrender, the soldiers who have surrendered, they were killed and thrown into the ocean. And such videos were made viral. And then similarly, here, some person from some other religion is killed, and the video is being viral and made viral, and then we are so happy. This means that we are forgetting our uh, our duties as citizens of India. We are just becoming the voters. We are reduced to all the citizens have been reduced to voters, as in Sri Lanka and as in. Another similarity between Sri Lankan economy and Indian economy is that we are dependent on FDI. We are dependent on multinationals. We are dependent on big corporates. Now you can see that the vendors, the street vendors, are also under the network of GST. This is mainly because they have studied that only 30% of the consumer goods are sold in the big malls, and that's why this should be increased, and that therefore vendors should get vanished. So this is the struggle of corporates. Another thing, let me share with you, yesterday only, the figures have been published that more than 5 lakh crores of rupees have been, this loan has been waived to the big corporates. So we are giving red carpet treatment to the corporates, and we are using the suppressive power. Operations are there on the sections of the important sections of society, like the rural people or the agricultural, means the farmers. And this is the major problem for the sustainable development. So environmental issues are also cropped up when democracy is diminished. And that we have seen in these days, that many environmental issues are not taken seriously while development. Sustainable development has got 3 major dimensions: environment, social, and economic. Social dimensions means the ethics, economy, and the environment. So it is also called as triple E approach. So far as ethics are concerned, so our father of nation has given us the idea regarding ethics. Ethics should be observed not just for the goals, but even means towards goals. While traveling towards goals, so we should also observe ethics. So the ethical values are being ruined, and this kind of study should be carried out by the social scientist. And even the languages, now you can see that the language is also being changed. The local languages are not given importance. There is domination of the English medium schools in rural area, and this English medium schools are the units of exploitation of the money generated in rural areas. Same is the case with healthcare facilities in rural areas. They are also acting as the units of exploitation of the money which is generated by farmers or the rural people. So this is to be taken into account. Such studies should be taken into account. And I think that in the recent trends of our research, I would say that you should also give some global view also. Global to local means the local problem is that what is the local problem of dairy industry, dairy activity? The farmers are not getting the sufficient money for their milk production. So why it is so? The milk is produced by farmers. The natural resources are owned by farmers. But how much profit, how much money earned by that dairy activity remains in the rural area, and how much goes to the urban sector by way of purchasing medicines, by way of purchasing the concentrate feed, by way of purchasing some great semen and all these things. So these are the major issues of Indian culture, the sustainable development in India. So many environmental degradation projects, the many projects causing environmental degradation have been politically sanctioned. So this is the wrongful thing about the political economy. Political economy means the politics of taking the economic decision, and that political economy is mainly guided by big corporates, and that's why it is people may say it as crony capitalism, but it is, I would say that it is the capitalism, predators capitalism, means the killing the livelihood resources of others. We are developing, trying to give profits to the big companies like Coca-Cola. Yesterday, I have seen on TV one advertisement of how to celebrate 75th year of independence. So I just said that this advertisement is done by some Deshadrohi people. Means that advertisement, there is a tagline that this is sponsored by Coca-Cola, Thumbs Up, and all this, and that's why this kind of thing is there. So that is their logo. So this means that those who have killed the livelihood of poor people in Pachimada, you might be having this, you might have studied case of Pachimada village, where Coca-Cola plant has established in round about 2000 or 2001, and it has ruined the resources, groundwater resources of the farmers. This is not sustainable development. We academicians should carry out such issue-based research activities. You need not go to Kerala for studying Pachimada village. In your own village, you can find out whether the tractors, geographers are tempted to see that the level of development, number of tractors means level of development is slightly above. So instead of that, you carry out what happens when JCPs are coming in rural areas, why Falkland is there, tractors are there. So whether they are benefiting to the bottom of pyramid or not. So what is bottom of pyramid? Bottom of pyramid means population below certain in low income group, means population which is not in position to get the money, the families which are not in position to get more than 10,000 rupees per month. So such families, so what is the use of your big roads or the big malls or big buildings, or even the big parliament building, new parliament building for those people? That is the question mark. So our research questions should be like this. So I hope that the scientists from the scholars from social science, the scholars from science and technology. people always say that technology is the great thing, but sometimes technological intervention is very bad for achieving the goals of development. We have observed it all over Maharashtra, not only all over Maharashtra, but also all over India in education. What happened to online examinations? What happened to those who are graduated online? So we know. So all this is not this is open secret that all teaching community, the people, the our fraternity knows it well that the standard of education has been ruined because of this kind of online teaching and online examination system, and there is a fraud also in online examination system. So we have to take care of technological intervention or utilization of technology for development. Technology is not the solution. Technology poses its own issues, and that's why the social issues have been posed by technological intervention. So such issues, even economic issues, are also posed by the technological intervention. I will just give one example. Because of rig machines brought in India, imported rig machines with the collaboration of Tata and some Japanese companies. So we imported those machines, and what happened? The bore wells, density of bore wells have been increased 5 times in just a span of 1 decade or two. So this is responsible for lowering down the groundwater level. Lowering down groundwater level is nothing but the ill distribution of the great precious resource like groundwater. And now for companies' sake, for companies' benefit, uh, the government of India has pushed one law that everybody, each and every farmer has to take permission for using groundwater. What was how permission was given to Coca-Cola to suck up water or to pump out water or to mine the groundwater right up to 500 feet deep, and it was so powerfully sucked up or pumped up that the 40-kilometer radius area was deprived of groundwater, and that's why vegetation cover, agricultural crops, all this has been failed miserably, and this is direct impact on the farmer's livelihood, so or standard of living. So that's why they, in your village or in a village nearby your college, if such things happen, you should take up such issue-based research programs and find out. Once you have finished PhD, now you should do the research for your just interest and in the interest of nation. And don't think that our only Sri Lanka and India are under the scrutiny, but most of the things have happened already in Bolivia, in Peru, in Chile, in Burma, in Bangladesh. Bangladesh, the intervention of Chinese company has uh, has created havoc in Bangladesh. Similarly, American companies in Pakistan. So they are trying to kill the civil society. They want that the civil society should be changed as the bunch of voters. So this kind of psyche, even psychology, mob psychology, can also be studied in by the scholars from psychology department. So with these words, I hope that hopefully all my young friends will carry out such research and they will tell the local people the real truth of the truth, the real root cause of the problems that they are facing. So with these words, I again wish them all young scholars a very, very great time ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable guidance. After this, for the first plenary session, I would like to invite Professor Dr. F.M. Nadab, sir, Department of Geography, DPMs, Shri Mallikarjuna and Shri Chetan Manju Desai College, Goa. Over to you, sir. Nadab, sir.
Good morning, Nadaf.
Sir, good morning. Sir, good morning. How are you?
Fine.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Great to see you again. I hope you can see my screen. Respected principal.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Respected principal of the college, Principal Chanshetti, our role model and idol, Professor Praveen Saptarishi, the visiting professor, Salisbury University, United States of America. Another great professor, Professor Lal Mervin from University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka. Professor Madan Suryavanshi, the head of the Department of Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Aurangabad. My chairperson, Shri Sanjay Patil, my very good friend, Santosh Mane, and all the participants. At the outset, I'm very happy to be part of this international webinar. I have selected a theme under gender issues, wherein today I'm going to speak about diversity, equity, inclusion, the three pillars of sustainable workplace. Professor Saptarishi has already addressed a few things about inclusion and exclusion and what is happening in our country, what is happening in our villages. I always appreciate Saptarishi sir for his bold stance, because many a times I have heard him, taking stands against the establishments without bothering about his safety and security. I think all of us should learn such qualities from him. So thank you very much for your inspiration from time to time. So the topic, as I told you, I have selected is diversity, equity, and inclusion, the three pillars of sustainable development. This is the need of the hour today, because diversity, equity, inclusion, and sustainable development are the latest global buzzwords in human development. And they describe the policies and programs of an organization or a country. So under the United Nations, we have been talking about 17 sustainable development goals. Under sustainable development goals, these three are very important components. So that will exhibit the policies and programs of any country or any organization. So when I say any organization, I'm talking here industry, I'm talking about a college, I'm talking about any such association where people are involved in the overall development. So these three words, which are very popular as DEI, have also become an integral component of present-day education system. Our National Education Policy 2020 also puts emphasis on equity, inclusion, diversity, accessibility, quality, and so many other aspects. But here I'm only focusing on three things: diversity, equity, and inclusion. So these three are very important because they are crafting and maintaining the effective workplace. As a college, if I want to grow, as an industry, if I want to grow, as a nation, if I want to grow, these three things are very much important, because They are meant for effective growth. They are meant for effective growth. Our workplaces are guided by innovation, excellence, creativity, originality, inventiveness, which can happen due to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Government of India, UGC, National Education Policy, and other regulatories, they expect lot many things from the higher educational institutions. That is possible only when we are involved in innovation, excellence, creativity, originality, inventiveness, etc. And all this can happen only in your institute when you have diversity, equity, and inclusion. So without these three things, excellence will not come to any organization. So since I'm talking about diversity, let's try to understand what is this diversity. Look at this picture, very beautiful picture. It's of the Valley of Flowers, which is located in Uttarakhand. You can see beautiful flowers, valleys, the mountains, colorful, surroundings there. Wonderful, looks very, very catchy, very, very appealing to everybody. Similarly, look at this. This picture is also from the same valley. Wonderful. The moment you see it, you'll be energized. Such a beautiful picture. Again, another photograph explaining the same thing. This picture is of Kashmir garden. Wonderful, beautiful. Now let's come to this photograph. In this photograph, you don't find anything. You find only sand. This is picture of a desert. There are no trees, there are no plants, there are no flowers, there are no animals. There is absolutely nothing here except sand. Imagine if our workplace, or if our organization, or if our country was like this, having no diversity, what would have happened to our excellence? So therefore, we don't expect a society like this, but rather we expect a society in this particular way, where you have all kinds of, or where there is a lot of richness in the biodiversity. You have flowers, but flowers belonging to different species. There are trees, they belong to different species. There are animals, they belong to different species. So you don't have one particular animal. You don't have one particular flower. So there is so much of diversity. So this diversity is very important to achieve the excellence in our workplace, in our country, or wherever we are. Similarly, if we try to look around and try to see our environment consists of many ecosystems. We don't have one single ecosystem. So we have backwaters, we have rivers, we have wetlands, we have glaciers, we have ocean, we have agricultural fields, we have thick forest, we have grasslands, we have so many things. So these ecosystems also tell us that our earth is also made up of diversity. So hence, every place should have diversity. Now, I'm not talking about having physical diversity, but I'm talking about having diversity of the humans. Look at this slide. This also talks about same thing. So many species of animals are there. Some are land-based. Some are having different characteristics. We go to market, we buy vegetables. In the market, you don't have only a particular vegetable. There are so many. Now here there is one slide in which you can see brinjal. Brinjal is one vegetable. But how many brinjals I'm showing here? There are not less than about 15, 16 different varieties of brinjal. Meaning nature, if wanted, should have created only one brinjal. But not only it has created one brinjal, but within the brinjal, it has created so many species. Some are round, some are green in color, some are gray in color, some are purple in color, some are red in color, some are white in color, some are round, some are having different shapes. This is the wonder of the nature. So what nature tells us is that diversity is vital. Without diversity, the excellence and the survival becomes highly impossible. We have seen chilies in the market. We may have observed one or two, but here I am giving you a photograph where there are not less than 100 different varieties of chilies. So nature expects that there has to be diversity. Look at all these. Some chilies are so small and some are so big. They have different colors. They have different shapes. So meaning diversity comes in different shapes and different colors. So this is what we need to learn from the nature. The same thing. Now these are some seeds. So many seeds. And all seeds are different. Their structure is different. Their size is different. The color is different. They are different in so many senses. But that difference communicate a meaning. And that meaning is diversity. We human beings look different. Indians are different from Americans. Americans are different from Chinese. Chinese are different from the Russians. The Russians are different from the Africans, and Africans are different from any other country, meaning people belonging to any other country. Why do they differ? Why nature has not made all human beings similar? So this is primarily because of the genes that we have. 90-95% of the genes are common to all people belonging to different races. But we are different genetically because of 5% of the genes. So though we are different, but we belong to only one species. But this also exhibits that there is a diversity. The diversity when it comes to workplace has got many dimensions. So there are many people working in an organization, in a college, in an institute. What is the dimension of diversity? The dimension of diversity is nothing but age. We belong to different age groups. Some are young. Some may be of 25 years old, 25 years. Some may be 50, some may be 60. We have different belief system. We have class, we have caste, we come from different cultures. We may have certain amount of disability. Our level of education may be different. We may have different ethnicity, gender, male, female, and others. We belong to different generations. Our job roles are different. Principal is performing a different kind of role. Teachers are performing different roles. The non-teaching staff is performing different roles. We speak different languages. We have different mental healths. When you take multinational companies, so there, we may have people coming from different nationalities, different natives. We may have indigenous people. We will have different personality types. Our religion may be different. Our race may be different. Our sexual orientation also may be different. And the way we think also may be different. And plus the work style and the work experience. All these things are very important when we talk about innovation and excellence. Innovation and excellence will not happen if you have people belonging to one particular setup. You have to have people representing all cross sections of the society. That is where diversity comes into picture. Why diversity matters? Because diversity will give us an idea about how we can live in coexistence, and coexistence leads to sustainable growth. Suppose in a society, if there is a violence and we are not living in harmony with everybody, so what affects is the sustainable growth. So diversity teaches us coexistence, and that will later help for achieving the sustainable development. Similarly, in an industry, when we manufacture a product, different perspectives are important for its quality and innovation. And those innovations and other perspectives can happen by way of diversity. Suppose in an industry, there are people from different backgrounds. When they will be able to provide new perspectives and approaches to solve the problems differently and propose unique solutions. So when you have a group of people coming from different backgrounds. When you do a brainstorming session, so we will be able to come out with solutions to the problem. So that is where diversity becomes important. The another important concept is equity. Equity. Let's look at three pictures. This is one picture. So three people are observing a game. Some sort of game is going on there. Two people are able to watch the game and one person is not able to because this person is disabled. One person is tall, one person is in medium height. Now, you can see all three people can see the game. In the previous, only two people were able to see it. Now, in this, three people are able to see it. Now, what these pictures tell us? The first picture assumes that every person will benefit from the same support. So they will be treated equally. So we say all are equal. Yes, we need to treat people equally, definitely, no doubt. But in this picture, you will find that when we treat people equally, there are some barriers for certain sections of the society. Now, out of the three people here, only two people are able to watch the game. But the third person finds a barrier he is not able to see because he is a disabled person. He is sitting on a wheelchair and there is a barrier. Now, since the person is tall and the other person is medium in height, that person can watch. First person is able to watch completely, meaning the total match, but the second person has got small difficulty. Now, in the second picture, what we have done, we have given some support. We have given some support to that disabled person. So now height is increased. So now all the three people are able to see because we have given them some kind of support. So all three are able to. But in the third picture, what we have done is instead of giving support, we have removed the barrier. The barrier which was there in front of all these three is removed. Now the disabled person does not require support. The person who was having a short stature also does not require any support. And tall person was, as it is, enjoying the game. Now, these are three concepts. One, where you are not giving any support to anybody, is equality. Wherever you find that some people are having disadvantage, you are providing them some support, which is called equity. And when you remove the barrier, it becomes justice. So now we have to work in these two areas. Equality is fine, but we need to be considerate. We need to provide some support to people who are unable to perform like an ordinary person or like a normal person. So whatever barriers are there, those barriers need to be taken out because equity aims to guarantee fair treatment, justice, access, opportunity for all, while also enduring to determine and to get rid of the roadblocks which have constrained some sections of the society from engagement and involvement. So we have people of all sorts. Some are physically disabled, some are visually disabled, some are mentally disabled, some are having some other constraints. Certain sections of our society whom we call as the SCs and STs and OBCs. In the olden days, they were not part of the mainstream, so they also are lagging behind. We need to have the equity and justice concept to bring them into the mainstream and use their innovative skills in the process of excellence. Equity matters because partially inequality, unfairness, and injustice leads to create an unrest and turbulence in the society, and I've always spoken about it. So whenever people are not treated properly, when there is inequality, when there is partiality in any organization, there will be unrest, and that unrest affects the country, it affects the industry, it affects the business, it affects our safety and security. So therefore, we have to do away with these concepts from an organization. So therefore, we have to focus on what is called as inclusion. So far, our society, meaning for a very, very long time, because our society was ruled by the kings, it was ruled by the other Rajas and Maharajas and so many rulers, and afterwards we had British rule. I mean, in all this period, in the entire period, we always, had excluded so many people. Meaning our way of working was exclusion. But exclusion will not give us anything. If at all we want to march forward, then we need to have the inclusion in our society. Look at this particular photograph. So what do you find? There are certain people, they are within a circle, and certain people are kept outside the circle. So look at those dots, green dots. All green dots are in the center, and those red dots are outside the circle, meaning we have kept some people outside the society. I think the best example I would give you is of the caste system. So in the caste system, in the olden days, now the scenario may be different because the things are changing. But in the olden days, certain classes which were considered superior lived together, but the inferior classes were made to stay outside the villages and outside the mainstream. So this is exclusion. So we had excluded the STs, the SCs, the OBCs, and all of the people who used to do the menial job in the villages and in the towns. Now here I have another photograph. So the green one continues. I mean, all dots are in the center in one circle. But previously, all people were scattered around the circle. Now we have created another circle and we have put those people into that circle. This is called separation. So already Saptarishi sir has spoken about the separation, how certain sections are being targeted in the society. So that is how we have the separation. Then we have earlier one circle where green dots were there. Now within the circle, we have created one more circle, which is called integration, meaning we are trying to integrate all people, but still there is a bifurcation. So the green dots will remain green, red dots are separated from the green dots. All these things will not help us, but what will help us is the inclusiveness. Now here in this diagram, you can see all red and green dots are mixed. Now there is no unfair treatment given to the population of that village. So this is what is required, inclusiveness. Inclusiveness will take us to achieve the greater results, because inclusion and exclusion are two important sociological terms. We learn from our history. I've already told you that SCs and STs and other people were excluded. They were excluded from the mainstream of the society. So that has caused many damages to us. So exclusion is an act of leaving someone out of the act of or left out due to discrimination on the basis of caste, prejudice, physical or mental disabilities, and other social causes. We have not involved many sections of the society in the decision-making process. Remember, some people may be physically disabled. It does not mean that they are not intelligent. It does not mean that they cannot contribute anything to the society. They have many capabilities, and with those capabilities, they can always contribute. So, because those people are also talented, their talent has to be used for the excellence and betterment of the society. Now look at this particular person. He is, you can see beside him is a wheelchair, but he's a great artist. He's a globally recognized artist. He's able to perform, he's able to show his skills only because he's given an opportunity. If he was not given opportunity, he wouldn't have done anything. Now this is one setup of an office. Meeting is going on in a boardroom. So you can see you have people belonging to different color. There are people belonging to different religion. You also have people belonging to disability, meaning disability, your color, your caste, your religion is nowhere a barrier So all have to work together. He's a great international photographer. He's not having both the hands, but still, he can take a beautiful picture because that is the hidden talent this particular gentleman has. Who can forget this particular great lady, Sudha Chandran, the great dancer? She's not having both the legs. She has lost her legs. Nach Mayuri, I don't know. The older generation will remember, the movie called Nach Mayuri. She had performed in that movie. She was the lead. She was having a lead role, and she was a dancer. Those dances are still very fresh. If she was not given opportunity, she wouldn't have performed. Ravindra Jain, Mahabharat serial. The entire composition was done by him. He is a blind person. He is visually disabled. He could do that wonder. Arunima Sinha, she has climbed Mount Everest more than one occasion. She has got difficulty in walking, but still she could climb not on one occasion, more than one occasion. Albert Einstein was also having many disabilities, but he became one of the great scientists because he got opportunity. Stephen Hawking, whenever I have seen him on television, I have seen him on a wheelchair. One of the great scientists got opportunity to show his talent, hidden talent. George Washington, the first Prime Minister, the first President of the United States of America, also had many disabilities, but he went on to become the President of the United States of America. Nicholas James, great musician. You must have seen his videos on YouTube. Now, who has not seen this great man, Mr. Bean? Mr. Bean, for a major part of his life, he was a slow learner. He couldn't learn. He had so many difficulties in learning. But today, he is one of the great successful actor. Everybody wants to watch his serials, his movies. So what we understand from all these examples is that disability, your caste, your religion, your backwardness, whatever that we have is not a barrier, because everybody has got some talent, and with that you can contribute. Every organization must have policy on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So that's possible only when you have a policy. As a college, you need to have a policy on diversity. You should have students coming from different sects of the society. You should have equity, provide support to who have got difficulty, and see that everybody is included in your college. So that policy every college should have. Such policy leads to creating a work environment that is equable and inclusive of all individuals. That is something very important. Now, to conclude my presentation, I'm quoting two quotes of two great people. Share our similarities, celebrate our differences. So we may have a lot of differences. Instead of our similarities, we should celebrate our differences. Strength lies in differences, not in similarities. So with this, I conclude my presentation. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to share some of my experiences on diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. Thank you once again.
Sir, for your nice presentation on diversity, equity, and inclusion, the pillars of sustainable workplace. Thank you again. Now I would like to invite Dr. Sanjay Patil, the Vice Principal, Ankushrao Tope College, Jalna, to share his views. Over to you, Dr. Sanjay Patil, sir.
Thank you, sir. Today's International Conference Chief Organizer, Honorable Principal Dr. Umakant Chanshetti, sir. Very good and important keynote address, Professor Lal Mervin, sir. All geographers, guidance to, and today's President's speech, Honorable Dr. Praveen Saptarshi sir. This planetary session guidance Professor Nadab sir. Organizers Dr. Lanke sir, Dr. Mane sir, Dr. Musande sir, my friend Dr. Madan Surunji sir, and all participants. In this international conference, this session, Dr. Nadab sir, very nice presentation and guidance in 3 pillars of sustainable development through diversity, equity, and inclusions. In this conference, discussion of issues of science and social sciences. Today is the most challenging in the world history. These all challenges is not limited. The education at home without going to school, colleges is really a big matter of concern. Face-to-face interaction is essential among teachers, friends, and students for physical, intellectual, and mental development. These issues are very important discussion in this conference. This session, thank you for organizer to me a chance for this session as a chairperson. Thank you all participants and thank you organizers.
Thank you. Now to invite Dr. Uttam Patil, Department of English, Arts and Commerce College, Rupudi. Dr. Uttam Patil, sir. Over to you, sir. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible, sir. Please.
At the very outset, I congratulate the chief organizer of this international seminar conference, Principal Dr. Umakant Chanshetti sir, Organizing Secretary Dr. Lange sir, IQAC Coordinator Dr. Mane sir. I congratulate Dr. Santosh Mane sir for organizing this conference on a very, very important topic, which is related to sustainable development. Actually, when sustainable development comes, the issue of sustainable development comes, what we do, we restrict it to sciences and social sciences. Human beings, as human beings, we are all the time under the process of evolution. This evolution takes us to better position in life. That is what we must realize as development. Sustainability is related to the long-lasting positive effects of the development. The development that we human beings have attained, it's the output of the utilization of the resources that we have. first congratulate Dr. Nadar for his presentation on inclusive policies, equality, inequality. The topic of my presentation is on sustainable development. Important question is it really a resource? Do the scholars take language as a resource? What is it really a resource? Actually, 90% of the people, 90% of the members of the society, they use language very naturally. The way we breathe, the way we consume food, the way we utilize the other natural resources which are available, non-commercial. In order to use language, we do not have to go into market and pay money. It is a product that is all the time available. The course of time, we build this product. What is language? Is it a resource? We'll discuss that too. Language is a resource. Is it a natural resource or man-made resource? Okay, some may take it as a natural resource. Some may consider it as a man-made resource, artificial resource. Let us begin with language. What is language? Language is a mystery. What exists, what comes first? The product or the user? With most of the man-made products, it is the user who comes first and then the product comes. But with language, every man comes after language, because language is there, it is already there in society. It is a social means of communication, and when we communicate in a language, that means is already available there, and we acquire it through the process of socialization. Acquisition of language is the outcome of the process of socialization. But it's mystery. The scholars, the linguists, the psycholinguists, the psychologists, the neurologists, they are still working on the processes of the ways we acquire language. So it's a kind of mystery. In a way, it is connected traditionally, language acquisition is connected to divinity. Sometimes in a country like India, mostly it is said that one who uses the language very proficiently supposed to have blessings of Goddess Saraswati. But all these are ascientific, non-scientific assumptions about language. What is language then? Language is a system. It is a skill-oriented system. The evidence of acquisition of language is the acquisition of skills. How can we understand that somebody has acquired the language? The evidence is if that person understands what we speak, what we have written, then, or if that person responds orally or in a written form, this is acquisition of language. So, want to assert that you have ability to exhibit those skills. It is a system of systems. Not developed by a single person. It is it's not a product of one person. It is a product. It can be physical, it can be abstract. It becomes a physical with productive skills like speaking and writing. It becomes abstract with the receptive skills like listening and reading. No, it's a full of mystery. So you see, one thing is very, very important. It is a means of social communication. Earlier, just 50 years back, just 100 years back, the attitude towards the study of language, it was a very, very traditional one. But with the emergence of linguistics and its various branches, language has acquired a very substantial, pivotal, central place in all the developments in the human world. What is language? Language is a means of communication. What we communicate? It is a means of sharing. It is a means of exchanging. Without language, we people today find it very, very difficult to exchange whatever that we have. Because language is a naming system. Can we imagine the world without language? It is well said that world without string is a chaos. It can be applied to language. World without language can be a chaos. I don't say it's a chaos, but it is a chaos if there is no language. Even when there is language, sometimes it becomes chaotic. Just imagine the world today without language. Whatever that we have achieved in the 20th century, 21st century, just minus language from that achievement, what remains there with us? Because we are human beings. Human beings, there is a very, very basic primary difference between humans and non-humans. What is that difference? Language is the difference. The non-humans, they have their own communicative system. They have calls, they dance, they perform, they do so many actions in order to communicate, convey, give messages. And we human beings, we do not have to do other things, right? In order to communicate a message, we use languages. We use languages. Languages differ from communities to communities. So this language, it is used to share ideas, share information, share emotions. As it is a naming system, can we just survive without naming a thing. The instant we come across something new, what we first do, we want to know its name. And if we don't, we get confused, which we try to give some identity to that. And the language is providing identity to whatever is us, tangible, intangible, concrete, abstract, whatever that we can, if one identify, we can, if one give identity to the things which we have not seen, touched, sensed, imagination. We, if one give the identity to the world of imagination, supernatural things. This is a miraculous ability that we have got. So, is it really a God's gift? No. Language is a social phenomenon. No doubt, there will be linguists like Chomsky and psycholinguists, other psycholinguists. They think that language is instinctive. Only human beings have the ability to acquire the language, any language in the world, at any stage of life. That's what Chomsky says. So, it is a tool, a resource. Language is a resource of social communication. Without language, we find it very, very difficult to perform our daily intellectual or even physical activities. If language hadn't been there, today we enjoyed the feasts with Dr. Saptarshi, Dr. Mervin. Would it have been possible without language? Just imagine. And imagine what we talk, the sustainable development without language. How to attain this development? Could it have been possible? Could it have been without language? So, it's a very, very important thing, because we use language to store and exchange information and knowledge. Information and knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is the ability to do anything. That is what we mean by knowledge. And what is information? Information, it describes the way to do the things. That's what we mean by information. But on the basis of information, when we achieve the ability to do certain things, it means we have the knowledge of doing those things. So, we store information with the help of language. Like there are other resources like sunlight, soil, air, water, minerals. These are the resources, and language is like those resources. It exists before the emergence of individual member of a society. So it is a naturally existing phenomenon for us. I speak Marathi is my mother tongue. I am a teacher of English. I use English. I can speak Marathi because it is already there, available there for me. I am exposed to it. I have internalized all the systems of Marathi. How could this internalization could occur? It could occur because it already exists there. So, presently, language is so indispensable that human life is inconceivable, beyond understanding. It is very, very difficult life without language. What is a resource? A resource means a tool, a means to perform activities and attain specific achievement. I wish to compare language to the other natural resource, that is air, oxygen. Without oxygen, life is impossible, utterly impossible. For living beings, life is utterly impossible. We need oxygen. And for human beings, in social life, language plays the role of oxygen. Human language is the oxygen of human social life. So it becomes a resource. The natural resources are air, water, land, sun, vegetation, minerals, right? These can be counted as primary resources. But there are secondary resources, man-made resources, which are made out of primary or natural resources. We cannot put language either as a natural resource, primary resource, or secondary resource. But it inclines towards primary resource, because it hasn't been fabricated using natural resources. Okay? The natural resources that we have speech organs that we use to articulate the speech sounds of language. So that may be, but it is primarily, it should be counted as a natural resource. So it is resources are used for social, commercial, industrial, aesthetic, scientific, cultural, and other purposes. What do we mean by development then? Development means progress, a growth. Development is the process of becoming bigger, stronger, better. It is the process of creating something more advanced. Development can be negative, which leads to destruction. Development can be positive, which is a very, very constructive one. Development can be a very, very, short one, transitory one, brief one, and it can be sustainable. It goes from generation to generation. It's so sustainable. Sustainable development is renewable, supportable. It is worthwhile. Now, how language can be used for sustainable development? Yeah. Whatever sustainable development that we have attained till date, all there is contribution of language in making the development sustainable, long lasting. As we have discussed earlier, language defines and describes everything. It is used to define and describe everything, tangible, intangible, real, imaginary, natural, supernatural. these things, whatever that is there around us, something that we feel, that we do not feel, it can be defined, described with the help of language. It can be, there are so many sciences, they contribute to the development by using natural. But these sciences they are only through language. Just imagine the world of science without language. Language itself is a science. No doubt it is considered under a discipline under humanity. But it belongs to both social sciences and sciences. So without language we cannot think of sciences, that is fields of knowledge. Now, I would like to focus something which is very, very important, and I'm going to, after considering this point, I will conclude my presentation. Natural resources, they are used to earn livelihood. They are used to earn livelihood. Do we use language to earn livelihood? Of course, we use language to earn livelihood. They are used to attain development. Language becomes a source of livelihood for human beings. No doubt, language cannot be breathed, it cannot be drunk, it cannot be eaten. But there are so many people in the civilized modern world who use language to earn livelihood. And this has been being done since ages. It's not just a modern trend. You can go back to Aristotle, Socrates, even the ages before that, time before that. Language is a source of earning money also. The great number of language teachers across the world is the evidence of this. The great number of professional speakers is the evidence of this. Let me give you one example. So, language is a living thing, you see. It is a resource. Other resources, I do not like to confuse you. Let us complete it as a resource first. When we use the natural resources like wood, water, air, when we use them excessively, there is a fear of ending those resources and putting the world into a big problem. But language is such a resource that gets enriched after it is used. When we use language, it is enriched. And if the language is not used, it may die. The classical languages of the world, Greek, Latin, Sanskrit, they are the examples, the right examples for this. Now they are not used as a part of, in our daily life, they are almost dead. But still, for the sake of having precious knowledge existing in the literature, in those languages, people still use those languages study those languages for the sake of research, and that also contributes to sustainable development. So language becomes a very, very useful resource for sustainable. Does not, it decrease. Language does not decrease as per its use. As we keep it using. And today, we for us, significant example. Some 600-700 years back, in the 13th century, or during the 15th century, even 16th century, English was language of a very small island, Great Britain. And now, after colonization, under the influence of globalization, English has emerged as language of the globe, and it has contributed considerably in the sustainable development. The material that is brought out in English, the dictionaries, that is the job given to the teachers. Now, come to the last point of my session, that is the data. What is the data? Data means, collection of information, data. It is, in the modern world, it is a commodity. It is a modern phenomenon of wealth, and data can be preserved in the form of language only. Nowadays, data can be purchased, it can be sold. And people, they are taking any step in order to acquire, accumulate as much data as possible. IT companies, they are giving jobs to innumerable people on the basis of processing the data. They want people to process data. So data can be at present stored in language. And it in that way contributes to sustainable development. There can be so many points which can be included in this presentation. But as per the restrictions of time, I must stop here. Thank you for bearing me, and I thank the organizers for giving me a chance to present my views here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable guidance. After this, I would like to invite Dr. Shivputra Kanade, Associate Professor, Department of English, Sri Madhavrao Patel Mahavidyalaya, Murum, affiliated to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad, to share his views. Over to you, Kanade, sir.
Good noon to all dignitaries and friends. At the very outset, I feel this conference is an academic tribute to late Anadur, a veteran and visionary educationist and freedom fighter.
Sir, you have mute.
Dr. Kanade, sir, your mic is mute.
Yeah, am I audible? Hello.
Okay, sir. Okay, audible, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. Good noon to all dignitaries and friends. At the very outset, I feel this conference is an academic tribute to late Sina Aluri Guruji. My friend Dr. Uttam Patil, he has addressed the plenary session on language as well as sustainable development and explained the significance of the language in our day-to-day life, focusing on the teachers in professional colleges and institutes. Dr. Patil stressed the importance of addressing language factors that affect faculties and the need for strong academic commitment from those present without any further delay. He conducted his speech by calling for the academic representative present to nurture and ensure adequate implementation of the commitment set out by the conference and to meet the challenges and not giving up. As you know, his presentation was highly applauded for bringing together his experiences from different fields of language, studies, and activism. There was also an emphasis, especially in the plenary discussions, to make the audience realize how the whole idea of the language and sustainable development that has been transforming with the changing perception of language and representation in the academic world. The present topic, that is a dire need of this hour. One must, who is an integral part of this academic fraternity, must ruminate over and perform the act for the destiny of our India. This conference has, without a shade of doubt, made the academic fraternity richer with the additional literature in form of scholarly works on the subject. In the light of new education policy, this endeavor is a welcome step. Therefore, we must thankful to Principal Dr. Umakant Chanshetti, organizing secretaries Dr. Mallinath Langde and Dr. Vishwas Mane, and of course the entire team of Jawahar College as well as this global foundation. Thanks once again for inviting me to chair this session. It has been a very subject experience for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. After the technical sessions will start, and so I would like to invite Dr. Mansi Swami Madam to conduct the technical session. Mansi Swami Madam, over to you, please.
Thank you, Vahule. Honorable dignitaries, learned delegates, and respected teachers, and all the participants, a very good afternoon to all. We are entering in the first technical session of today. It will be my pleasure to invite Dr. R.L. Rukwar, Head Department of Geography, BNN College, Bhiwandi, to chair this technical session. I also request all the participants to be ready with their presentation. I request them to present shortly as we are running out of time. I will announce the name of the presenter, Sahu Vijay from Dr. CVRU Kota, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. The title of his paper is Characterization and Correlation between Soil Texture and Electrical Conductivity of Soil Around Mines in India.
Name of the paper presenter?
Yes, ma'am.
Sahu
Yes.
Vijay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can we start?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes. Please start, sir.
My screen is visible or not?
Visible, visible.
Yes, sir. Please do a short presentation.
Okay, ma'am. I know. First of all, thanks. Very good afternoon, all of you, and thank you, organizer and chairperson, given great opportunity. My screen visible? First screen, sir, ma'am.
Yes, yes, visible.
So, sir,
Continue, sir.
thank you. And correlation between activity of the state. Yes. So just reject the discussion. I to is connectivity. That means
Sir, your network is very poor.
Okay, sorry.
Hello, Vijay sir. Shahu Vijay sir. Your network is very poor.
I tried to connect.
Continue, sir. Continue.
Okay. So, country management of the soil electrical conductivity affects the crop irrigating on the land using the application of the fertilizer, measure of the management of the soil of anything, many things of the effect of electrical conductivity. So this is the method of the and how conductivity, correlation, electricity, other parameters of the soils. So soil, this is location of the stick of mines area, Dantewada region, NMDC area. So this local region of mainly soil types of the red soil sandy, red sandy soil, red loam soil, and the littered soil. So find of the many labs use of technical and Department of Agriculture and Raipur Agriculture University soil test Bilaspur and other. So this is the parameters, equipments for find of the electrical conductivity, and step by step many follow up the rules and this method. So find of electrical conductivity and correlated of the many parameters of the soils and finding of the result. So just this is the result of physical parameter. Physical parameter, that means soil texture, soil density, particle density, maximum water holding capacity, and bulk density, porosity, soil texture, that means
Hello, Vijay sir.
Sahu sir, you are not audible.
Hello, Vijay sir. You are not audible.
Shall we call the next participant, sir? Rupert, sir?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, ma'am.
Hello.
Okay.
Next participant is Sandra Maria
Hello.
George from Department of Commerce, St. Albert's College, Ernakulam.
Hello.
Good afternoon, madam. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
1 minute. Excuse me,
Yes, you
ma'am.
are audible, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am. 1 minute. I am Dr. Swati. In this list, my name is not considered.
Which list?
My
जो फाइनल लिस्ट ग्रुप में सेंड की है सर मैम वहाँ पे हमारा नाम नहीं है.
No problem, ma'am.
Madam,
Ask
Sima
me,
ma'am,
please.
there are two sessions.
You will
There are
get
two
the
planning.
certificate, ma'am. No problem.
Okay,
Sima,
okay. After
ma'am.
that, okay.
Okay, no issue about that.
Okay.
We will continue with the technical session.
Yes,
Shall I call Sandra Maria George?
May I start, madam?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon to the organizers. Myself, Sandra Maria, and the topic which I'm presenting is customer satisfaction towards Paytm services. There is an incredible rise in the use of mobile phones and internet during the last decade in India. This increasing use of mobile phones, internet, along with the government policy of Digital India, led to the growth and development of digital payments. The popularity of digital wallet has grown rapidly throughout the past few years. Today, digital wallets play a significant role in all sorts of transactions across the world and are an essential tool for many people and business. The importance of digital payments can't be denied, as we are all aware of the present scenario, the present threats that COVID pandemic has posed.
Ma'am, what's
Paytm is
the
one of the largest mobile
ma'am,
commerce objective. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the objective of my study is to measure the overall satisfaction level of Paytm services by users in Kottayam district. Second one, to find out the reasons for choosing Paytm platform. Third one is to study the various problems faced by the customers. Now, when coming to the research methodology, sources of data, I have used both primary and secondary data. Primary data is collected using a questionnaire, and secondary data is collected from books and journals. My sample size is 55, and I have selected this sample using convenient sampling method, and the sampling area is Kottayam district in Kerala. Now, my major findings, when I look into the demographic variables on the basis of gender, the respondents are 55% of the respondents are male and 45 are female, and 1% of the total respondent belong to the age group below 20, 62 belong to the age group 20 to 40, 40 to 60, and 4% belong to the age group above 60. An education level, 2% of the total respondents have an education level below 12th standard, 1% diploma, 55% UG holder, 15% are professional degree holders.
Ma'am, show your screen.
Screen is not visible?
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Just a minute. Is it visible or not?
Not.
No.
Only show the introduction this screen.
Hello, ma'am. You continue with objective, core part of your paper, then conclusion.
Yes, please shortly.
Okay. Now the result of hypothesis testing. My hypothesis was there is no significant difference between male and female respondents regarding their level of satisfaction. And the test statistics I have used is independent sample t-test. Now, at 95% confidence interval, it is p-value is 0.156 and significance is 0.696, which is greater than 0.05, and hence I have accepted the null hypothesis, that is, there is no significant difference between male and female respondents with regards to their level of satisfaction. And the other important findings are respondents are satisfied. They are overall satisfied with the use of Paytm services. The Paytm services are often used for bill payments, recharging purpose, and fund transfer. Majority of the respondents agreed to the fact that Paytm faced a successful growth after demonetization. The most important reason for adopting Paytm platform are quick payments followed by cost effectiveness, ease of management, round-the-clock operation, enhanced security. Most important problem faced by Paytm users includes network issue, delay in confirmation from bank, fear of loss of money, theft of personal information. Now, the suggestions I'm putting forward is, most of the customers are, when they transfer fund, they always transfer funds of low denomination, that is mostly below 50,000 rupees. So measures must be taken to increase the confidence of customers to conduct high value transactions. And also customers have a fear of theft of personal information and confidential data. This must also be addressed. Sir, can I proceed with my conclusion?
Yes.
Yeah. The study was conducted to analyze the customer satisfaction towards Paytm wallet. Mobile wallets have become an important tool of transactions in our day-to-day life. The customer satisfaction was driven by different factors like ease of payment, ease of use, reduced time of transaction. Apart from this, the COVID pandemic has brought about profound impact on people's preference towards online transaction. It has made the study more relevant. The present study concludes that the usage of Paytm is at a satisfactory level and shown a tremendous increase in growth in e-payment sector. But the customers have several problems related to server issues, connectivity issues. So Paytm has to initiate necessary actions to periodic upgradation of their hardware and software and prevent cases of server issues. And it is also found that the Paytm has faced a successful growth after demonetization. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is Nanda Gopal from PSG College of Technology, Tamil Nadu. Dr. Nanda Gopal. Are you present, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Nanda Gopal.
Are you present, Nanda Gopal ma'am?
Next, sir. Next.
Next, ma'am.
Next is Dr. Ghongde Dilip from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar College of Next participant, Jain Sharma. Jain Reshma. Are you present?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. I am present.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Please present very shortly.
Okay, ma'am. Can I screen my share?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, 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 ma'am.
Okay. Respected sir, good afternoon to all present here. Myself, Mrs. Resma Jain, and now I am doing PhD. My research center is Department of Geology, Government E. Raghavendra Rao PG Science College, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. My research supervisor is Dr. Rasmi Sao, Professor of Geology, Government E. Raghavendra Rao PG Science College, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. And now I am here to explain about the study of ichthyofaunal diversity in Dundula Pond of Jaspur district, Chhattisgarh, India. Let's see the content, introduction, material method, result and discussion, conclusion and references. Let's discuss about the introduction first. We know that diversity is the variousness of something like plant and animal present in the world. In other words, we can say that the measure of variation at the species and ecosystem level is known as diversity. At present time in Indian, two fin fishes are sold in 12% of diversity. Different type of fishes are present in ponds and rivers, but all are similar in their structure and physiology. So according to this, each species can be divided into a number of group and taxa. Example, piscus are placed on one group. According to the summary given by Khuso in 1995, 12,26,188 is the total number of living species in India, and piscus is only 2.2%, that is 2,546 species. And the total area of Jaspur district is 6205 km square. The Dundula village is located in Dundula Tehsil of Jaspur district in Chhattisgarh, India. It is situated 28 km from district headquarters Dundula. Dundula village is also a Gram Panchayat. This is a small but beautiful village. If it common that fishes are widely used as an important food source by human, etc. Jaspur district is a tribal place. It has greater range of flora and fauna. I want to say that it is my good choice to study fish culture in ponds because till now no studies here has been done by any ichthyologists. And here the map of Chhattisgarh has been given. Let's go through material method. First, I went to Dundula village for survey and I found many types of ponds, but I selected only one pond for my work. Here the picture of the Dundula pond is given from where the ichthyofaunal diversity has been noted for further study purpose, and also map of Jaspur has been described in picture. Second, sample collection. The recent work have been done in the year to 2021 and 2022. Samples were collected on 4 weekly intervals by using different kind of nets, and fishes were collected with the help of local fishermen. And about the preservation method, after the collection of fishes from pond, the specimen were preserved in 8 to 10% formalin. Next, identification. After that, we will identify them after the preservation. Following observation has been done. Observations are most important to be noted while studying about ichthyofaunal diversity. First, the local name of fishes were asked from fishermen at that time only and noted. Some character of fishes were noted first in fresh state only, and the second characters were noted afterwards when the fishes were brought to laboratory. By doing observation, I found that so many different types of fishes were present. Then after that, we identified and collected 10 fishes. Let's go through the result and discussion. First, about the depth of the water. In the recent work carried out in the year 2021 and 2022 at Duldula ponds, first the depth of the water was also noticed. It is noted that at the month of April, the minimum depth of the water was 6 meter, and in rainy season the depth of water extend up to maximum 12 meter. Basis of categorization is also important. The collected fishes are classified firstly on the basis of habitat and secondly on the basis of feeding habit. The explanation of the table of the list of fishes of Duldula pond as follows. Here it is mentioned about the different type of fishes and their number, which we came to know after the study of the pond of Duldula. 26 species belong to 17 genera, 6 order and 11 families. The name of 6 orders are Sclupiforms, Sapriniforms, Balaeniforms, Ophiucephaliforms, Perciform and Master Symbaliforms. And it is noted that the maximum species belong to order Sapriniform, that is 17 species. The given picture are of the fishes which have identified. After the study and further finding, we came to the conclusion that the final result suggests that Duldula pond is rich in diversity of fishes, and fish culture is mainly done in combined fisheries societies. Large fishes are the major the group cultivation. Practice of combined culture are done by Labiorohita, Sirhinus mrigla, Katla and Clarius batrachus, etc. For local fishermen, fish culture is only sources of income for them, and it is very important that area is needed to be sustainable management. For this work, I have gone through many references to complete this work.
Thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is. Thank you. Next presenter is Diwakar Naik from Nutan College of Education, Karnataka. Mr. Amit Adhikari from RKTF University, Ranchi.
Excuse me, madam. Excuse myself, Dr. Diwakar Naik, madam.
Yes, please present.
Madam, I am suffering viral fever, madam.
Okay. We will take the next presenter. Ms. Dr. Gargi Bhattacharya from Mahadevanand Mahavidyalaya.
Yes, ma'am, I am present. May I share my screen?
Yes. Please do, ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you. The paper I am going to present today is captioned Education Inequality in the Context of Demographic Dividend in India, Districts of West Bengal, India, a case study. United Nations Population Division and Population Reference Bureau have predicted that India is going to enjoy the benefit of demographic dividend roughly after 2025, and declining fertility has changed the
I have presented my topic. Yes, I have presented, but conference is not.
Excuse me, ma'am, can you please request the other participants to mute their microphones? So declining fertility, along with the changing age structure of the population in favor of the share of working age cohort of the people, is a required condition for enjoying the demographic gift. Now the question is whether India can make use of the opportunity of this demographic advantage. Recent employment figures of India suggest that the absorption of the Indian youth is not so high due to the poor employability of the workforce. And this is mainly hampered by the poor educational and health status. Because only the number of the people cannot assure the economic growth if the quality of the future workforce is poor. And this quality can be attained through the effective human capital formation, which was stated in the endogenous growth model by Romer and Lucas, and health and education are the fundamental components of this human capital. But in my present study, I have concentrated on the educational aspect, considering some selected parameters pertaining to both elementary and higher education in India, with special reference to the state West Bengal. Now, my objective is to find out the relative positions of 18 districts of West Bengal in respect of some educational infrastructure index in two time periods, 2001 and 2011. And I have also done the inequality study to find out whether districts are converging or diverging in terms of index as well as in terms of some parameters. Now, the parameters that I have chosen: the number of the primary schools per lakh of eligible age cohort, number of the primary teachers per lakh of eligible age cohort, number of the students enrolled per lakh of eligible age cohort, and number of the colleges, both degree and the colleges of technology, per lakh of eligible age cohort. I have written the data source here, and I have used the principal component analysis for the construction of the education infrastructure index. Two pieces have been extracted. On the basis of the, I have done the inequality measures with the generalized entropic class of measures with different weights of the distribution. And here is the result, where I have ranked the districts in terms of their absolute value of the index, and we have found that the Nadia districts is consistently in the top position, and whereas the Bankura, Purulia, and Hubli, they are in top 3 positions. And inequality study suggests that in terms of 3 weights of the G, that this inequality, overall inequality in this index is declining. But parameter specific inequality study gives me inconclusive result. In terms of the student-teacher ratio, student-school ratio, and teacher-school ratio, we have found in some cases that the districts are converging, whereas in some cases this is a diverging. And in terms of the higher educational parameters, that the student-college ratio, and in terms of the village having colleges, the inequality is rising, whereas in terms of the graduate eligible age group and the diploma eligible age group, in that is the second, and in terms of the third parameters, the inequality is declining. Why is it so? This is because maybe that the districts are converging overall, but the pace of decline is not same, not uniform. So given we have found that there exists a wide range of differential in terms of this educational infrastructural parameters. So given this overall scenario, the question is whether India can enjoy this demographic dividend, because this education for all is still a far distant dream in our country. So for the effective use of the workforce, which is important, is to distribute that is what is important is the egalitarian distribution of the public resources and the public investment of the educational budget. In this case, the government can adopt some kind of development principles by allocating some kind of development grants on the basis of the degree of the backwardness of the districts. And this rule or this principle can be applied for all the districts in our country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next.
Next is Dr. Ashok Salve from Sri Jnaneshwar Mahavidyalaya, Nevasa, Maharashtra. Dr. Nitin Mule, Vignan Mahavidyalaya, Malkapur.
Not available. Next, ma'am.
Next.
Dr. Nanda Gopal from PSG College of Technology.
Are you present? No. Next.
S. Dinesh Kumar from Tiger College, Madurai.
Yes, madam, I'm present here.
Yeah. Dinesh Kumar are present.
Yes, sir.
Dinesh Kumar, within 5 minutes, your title, objective, methodology, core part, and conclusion. Within 5 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay. Oh, okay, fine, sir. Fine, sir. Thank you. Good evening to all. My topic is developing a remedial course in English to enhance the communication skills of slow learners in Part 2 English classroom. This is my title. Actually, my paper starts with the English language usage in various domains globally has profoundly influenced the teaching and learning of English in India. Even while there is a lot of positive enthusiasm, there is still a lot of people who live in rural and semi-urban area about learning how to communicate in English. The purpose of this paper is to develop a remedial course with the intention of meeting the language needs of the undergraduate slow learners. The universities and the colleges concern a lot for conducting remedial courses in a variety of capacities. Therefore, the primary objective of this work is to organize and standardize a remedial course in English in order to advance the communicative skills, notably of the slow learners who are enrolled in First BA Economics, Jawahar College. It is common observation that the slow learners who are learning English as a second language do not perform up to the expected level of English proficiency. So this study focuses on identifying the challenges faced by the students who are learning English as a second language and encouraging them to practice their language skills without any inhibition. And the research method is to conduct a pre-test and post-test and individual administered intervention period where he teaches the remedial course because he has framed a syllabus for remedial course. The remedial course has 5 units. The first unit discuss simply about the current state of English language, the hypothesis, aim, operational definition of communicative competence and methodology. The second unit provides analysis of challenges that are present in the typical Part 2 English classroom, the typical Part 2 English syllabus, which helps to demonstrate the necessity of taking a remedial course. After this, it examines the premises of remedial courses English as a second language, as well as the components, duration, teaching methods involved in the remedial courses. So this chapter not only highlights the necessity for a remedial course for the students who are falling behind, but it also outlines the guidelines for the followed in the design of this course. And the unit 3 discusses the challenges, shortcomings at the tertiary level of Part 2 English students, especially the slow learners, those who are coming from rural background and they are from Tamil medium and students. The fourth chapter, fourth unit provides a comprehensive report of the quantitative analysis and various experimentations, the collection of data, conducting pre-test and intervention period and post-test, analyzing the pre-test and post-test. And the fifth unit summarizes the findings of pre-test, post-test results, and it recommends the suggestions and it provides a conclusion to develop the slow learners of First BA Economics of Jawahar College. And in the conclusion part, this current paper is a pioneering attempt in its own right because it is the first of its kind to develop the remedial course in communicative competence in English, especially for the slow learners at tertiary level students. And here, the researcher has used indigenous content to conduct the activity. Most of the activities having the indigenous content so that the learners, they easily take involved in the activities and they improve and the indigenous contents advance the communicative competence of the tertiary level students. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Thank you, Dinesh Kumar, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. R.L. Geography BNN Bhiwandi to present his valuable thoughts. Dr. Rupote, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's so many participant found in international conference. Today's paper presentation, Shahu Vijay, Sandhya Mari, Reshma Jain, Gargi Bhattacharya, then Dinesh Kumar. So mostly, so Shahu Vijay focus on biodiversity, mostly water, soil and salinity, then cropping pattern. Then Sandhya Mari focus on digital India. Then Reshma Jain focus on biodiversity on fishery occupation. Then Gargi Bhattacharya focus on higher education, then inequality measurement, and Dinesh Kumar focus on English teaching, learning and communication. So mostly all participant and presentation focus on introduction, objective, hypothesis, problem, solution, suggestion, etc. I am thankful to him for the presenting all the elements or in detail. So once again, thank you. I would like thanks to Principal Dr. Umakant Chanshetti, Organization Committee for the college for going me the opportunity as chairman for this international conference. I would like thanks especially Dr. Santosh Mane for giving me the opportunity. Once again, thank you. So session is over.
Thank you, Dr. Rupavati sir, for your valuable presence here. Now, I take the opportunity to invite our next chairperson of the second technical session, Dr. Vikas Subale, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, BNN College, Bhiwandi.
Okay, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank all the dignitaries who give me the opportunity to preside over today's session. I request to all participatory or due to a time constraints, all participatory members who are going to present their paper are humbly request to present their paper between 2 or 3 minutes. Means just highlight on your objective, research methodology and conclusion. Okay.
Okay, I'll call Professor Sarla Devi Chakravarti from Gindo Devi Mahila Mahavidyalaya, Buddha, to present her paper.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me an opportunity to present my research paper. Today, my topic is जलवायु परिवर्तन व ग्लोबल वार्मिंग का मानव सभ्यता पर प्रभाव। मानव और प्रकृति का संबंध।
Ma'am, can you repeat your title, please?
जलवायु परिवर्तन व ग्लोबल वार्मिंग का मानव सभ्यता पर प्रभाव।
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
Continue.
Excuse me, madam. Sorry to disturb you. After 7, Dr. Dinesh Kumar, I am Dr. Harpale from. See the sequentially my paper presentation is there, madam.
Sir, that is not big. That is not big issue. Is randomly we choose that presenter. So definitely we will present after this presentation. Okay.
Okay, sir.
You will.
Okay.
Can I start, sir?
Yeah, Sarla ma'am. Continue, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. मानव और प्रकृति का संबंध सदियों पुराना है। जब से सृष्टि की रचना हुई है, तभी से मानव अपनी अनंत आवश्यकताओं की पूर्ति प्राकृतिक संसाधनों से करता आया है। जैसे जैसे मानव विकास करता गया, उसकी प्राकृतिक संसाधनों पर निर्भरता बढ़ती गई, परंतु प्राकृतिक संसाधनों के असंतुलित दोहन से हमारे समझ ग्लोबल वार्मिंग के रूप में एक विकराल समस्या खड़ी हो गई। विकास की अंधी दौड़ ने मनुष्य को इतना अंधा कर दिया कि वह स्वयं ही अपने विनाश की राह पर चल पड़ा, शायद जिसका खामियाजा आज हम भुगत रहे हैं। पेड़ों की अंधाधुंध कटाई व पर्यावरण प्रदूषण का प्रभाव जलवायु परिवर्तन पर पड़ा। परिणाम स्वरूप संपूर्ण विश्व को ग्लोबल वार्मिंग जैसी भयंकर समस्या का सामना करना पड़ रहा है। आंकड़े बताते हैं कि 19वीं सदी के अंत तक पृथ्वी की सतह का औसत तापमान लगभग 1.62 डिग्री फ़ारेनहाइट अर्थात लगभग 0.9 डिग्री सेल्सियस बढ़ गया है। साथ ही साथ पिछली सदी अब तक समुद्र जल स्तर से भी लगभग 8 इंच की बढ़ोतरी दर्ज की गई है, जो एक बहुत ही चिंता का विषय बना हुआ है, जिसके कारण समुद्र में स्थित छोटे छोटे देशों के अस्तित्व पर भी खतरा मंडराने लगा है। मालदीव ने समुद्र के अंदर व नेपाल ने एवरेस्ट पर अपनी कैबिनेट की बैठक करके दुनिया का ध्यान सर्वप्रथम इस विकराल समस्या की ओर आकर्षित किया था। 18वीं शताब्दी में ब्रिटेन में हुई औद्योगिक क्रांति ने एक तरफ तो दुनिया के लिए प्रगति के द्वार खोले, तो दूसरी ओर मानव की अदूरदर्शिता ने विनाश को भी दावत दे डाली। पिछले लगभग 350 वर्षों में वैश्विक औद्योगिक परिदृश्य ने हमारे पर्यावरण को भारी क्षति पहुंचाई है। बढ़ती उपभोक्तावादी संस्कृति व विभिन्न प्रकार की गैसों के उत्सर्जन से भूमंडल के तापमान में निरंतर वृद्धि हो रही है, जिससे ग्लोबल वार्मिंग का खतरा बढ़ता जा रहा है। रिसर्च आंकड़े हमारे बताते हैं कि देश में जो जलवायु परिवर्तन के मुद्दों पर काम शुरू करने के लिए वित्तीय संसाधन एक महत्वपूर्ण कारक है। भारत को स्पर्धात्मक मांगों की पूर्ति के लिए सीमित संसाधनों जो बेहद सोच समझकर उपयोग करना होगा। इसीलिए सतत विकास की राह हासिल करने के लिए नीतिगत हस्तक्षेप के नए व नवोन्मेषी स्वरूप गढ़ने तथा कार्यक्रमों को विशिष्ट रूप से आपस में जोड़कर कार्यान्वयन की प्रभावी बनाने की जरूरत है। जलवायु परिवर्तन के कारण हिमनदों के पिघलने की दर बढ़ रही है लगातार, जिसके कारण गर्मी के मौसम में नदी में प्रवाह बढ़ रहा है। प्रारंभ में तो जल प्रवाह बढ़ेगा और उससे संबंधित समस्याएं जैसे बाढ़, जल जनित रोग इत्यादि बढ़ेंगे। कुछ समय बाद हिमनदों का आकार भी घटने लगेगा और नदी के जल में मात्रा कम होने लगेगी। जल की मात्रा बढ़ने के अतिरिक्त हिमालयी क्षेत्र में अनेक परिवर्तनों के कारण नदियों का पथ बदलने की घटनाएं भी बढ़ रही हैं। वर्षा के समय में
Ma'am, please just highlight on the your recommendation about these things. आप अपने recommendation दीजिए और conclude कीजिए. Thank you, ma'am.
शोध पत्र है, ये दैतिक सूत्रों पर आधारित है और इसमें पत्र पत्रिकाओं, समाचार पत्र और पुस्तकों और स्वयं के विचारों पर आधारित है। कंक्लूजन में मैं कहना चाहूंगी कि वास्तविकता तो यही है कि मानव सभ्यता की पतन का आगाज हो चुका है। कहीं भीषण गर्मी है तो कहीं भयंकर सर्दी, जो मानव सभ्यता को निगलने के लिए खड़ी हुई है। जापान में आई सुनामी व थाईलैंड में आई बाढ़ जलवायु परिवर्तन के ही कारण है। इन आपदाओं से हमारी सांस्कृतिक सभ्यता व प्राणी जगत पर सामाजिक व आर्थिक व्यवस्था को भारी क्षति पहुंचती है। अब हमारे पास इतना समय नहीं है कि हम एक दूसरे को आरोपित करें। समय है कुछ सार्थक प्रयास करने का। यह वैश्विक समस्या है, अतः इसका हल भी हम सभी को ढूंढना होगा। आंकड़े बताते हैं कि पिछले कुछ वर्षों में अमेरिका, यूरोप, भारत, चीन सहित एशिया में ठंड व बर्फबारी अधिक हो रही है। छोटे छोटे उपाय करके हम जलवायु परिवर्तन व तापमान वृद्धि को कम कर सकते हैं, जैसे ज्यादा से ज्यादा वृक्षारोपण करके, गैर परंपरागत ऊर्जा स्रोतों का प्रयोग व वैश्विक तापमान बढ़ाने वाली गैसों का उत्सर्जन कम करके व जन जागरूकता लाकर।
चक्रवर्ती मैम
जी,
sorry for the interruption. I would like to call the next presenter, Dr. Harpale Dattatreya Vilas from HPT Arts and RYK Science College, Nashik.
Yes, madam. Respected session chair, Dr. Ubale sir, technical session 2, other distinguished dignitaries, I thanks to Jawahar Art Science College for giving me opportunity. So, is my screen is visible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Identification of new tourist destination in Palghar district. This is my topic of the today's presentation. My main author is Dr. Smita Harne and myself, Dr. Dattatreya Harpale. So Palghar is one of the tribal districts which is formed in 1st August 2014. That is the one of the important districts in Mumbai zone. Palghar district of Konkan region has lots of tourism potential of different socio-cultural and historical background. So this is the review of literatures. So Palghar district has a lots of tourism potential sites, and this district, which is very close to the urban area like Mumbai city, Thane, and Vasai, or even Gujarat, and even nearby the NAAC districts also. A huge tourism potential is there in Palghar district, but because of the lack of the infrastructure facilities, so we are working, one of my research student doing the research on this Palghar districts. This is the tribal region of Palghar district, location 19 degrees 17 minutes 15 seconds and 20 degrees 30 minutes 45 seconds. The study area, the area of the Palghar district is 5,344 square kilometer. So this is the study area. So against the above background, the present work attempts to study the socio-economic background of Palghar district and to collect the information about available tourism facility in Palghar districts and to identify the new tourist sites or the destination in Palghar district and prepare a tourist information system with the help of GIS techniques. Okay, so this is my hypothesis. So this is my methodology for making the tourist information system map. So for that, we have taken the Palghar district's PWD map, and on that map we have created the various layer, point, line, or polygon layers. Then the primary and the secondary data that is collected at the time of field work, and we are making the digital elevation models and attribute data that is prepared for that in the ArcGIS map. This is the methodology, primary and secondary data, field visit. So this is the flowchart for digital elevation model generations. So this is the digital elevation model of Palghar districts. So you will see that toward the west side, Arabian Sea part is there. So you will see that there is a huge potential toward the west sides for there are number of beaches, forts, and toward the east side, the part of Western Ghat. So Palghar district actually it lies between one side, west side there is Arabian Sea, and toward east side the Western Ghat, or what we can call as Sahyadri mountain. Okay, so this is a different software that are used, Elvis software, then ArcGIS, Surfer, and other softwares. So just now we are working on that Palghar district to identify the new tourism potential size. There are total 8 tahsil in Palghar districts, and there are 5 administrative divisions. So we have found Kelwa, Balapur, Arnala, Hiradpada, Nilmati, Danu, Gandhinagar, and in Wada. These are the 8 potential sites that we have found. Some of the sites are well-known site for the tourists. Some are the not developed or underdeveloped tourist centers. And on the basis of the matrix, we have prepared the site suitability parameter, natural attraction, vegetation, roads, public transport, accommodation, adventure tourism, recreation, parking facility, like that. So we have prepared a weighted index matrix, and that we have found that in these Palghar districts, Danu, which having the highly suitable site, apart from that, Kelwa is also highly suitable site. Then Hiradpada, which is the very beautiful waterfall in Jawahar Tahsil, and it having the lowest score, but it is one of the huge potential site in Palghar districts. So with the time being, I'm come to the conclusion. Various tourist zone according to the tourist category we can prepare, and such study which is useful for the planner, common man, tourist, researchers. Take the account need of tribal area information such as cheese accommodation facility should be provided to the these potential or tribal regions. Such study is useful for the planner, administrator, layman, those who are interested in the research of the fields. So these are the some of the sites: Kelwa Fort, Vasai Beach, then Gandhinagar Tribal Village, Hiradpada Waterfall, which is in Jawahar Tahsil. There are actually 8 waterfalls in Jawahar Tahsil: Kelwa Beach, then Danu Bordi Beach, and Jaivilas Palace. So these are the some of the references. Once again, I thanks to the.
Okay, sir. Nice presentation. Thank you.
Next presenter is Ms. Seema Prajapati from Banasthali Vidyapit, Rajasthan. Seema Prajapati.
Take next, ma'am.
Dr.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Seema Prajapati.
Please do your presentation, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. My topic is राजस्थान में महिला सशक्तिकरण। 21वीं सदी महिला सशक्तिकरण, सहभागिता एवं नेतृत्व की है। महिलाएं परिवार, समाज एवं राष्ट्र की केंद्र बिंदु होती हैं। यह अपने प्रकृति प्रदत्त गुणों एवं क्षमताओं के कारण विशिष्ट होती है। उनके व्यक्तित्व के विकास तथा गरिमामय जीवन जीने के लिए महिलाओं के विशिष्ट अधिकार एवं सुविधाएं आवश्यक एवं महत्वपूर्ण होती हैं। आज अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर से लेकर राष्ट्रीय, राज्य एवं स्थानीय स्तर पर महिलाओं के अधिकारों तथा समान राजनीतिक, सामाजिक एवं आर्थिक क्षेत्रों में सहभागिता एवं सशक्तिपूर्ण हेतु प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं। भारतीय संविधान द्वारा भी पुरुषों के समान महिलाओं को भी सामाजिक, आर्थिक, राजनीतिक, सांस्कृतिक अधिकार प्रदान किए गए हैं। इसमें जाति, वर्ग, धर्म, लिंग आदि के आधार पर किसी भी प्रकार का भेदभाव का निषेध किया गया है। भारत के राजस्थान राज्य में महिलाओं के सशक्तिकरण हेतु कई प्रयास किए गए हैं, जिसमें केंद्रीय सरकार द्वारा भी उनको सहयोग दिया गया है। राजस्थान की जब हम बात करते हैं, राजस्थान में महिलाओं की स्थिति में एक परंपरागत सोच विकसित होती है कि महिलाएं घूंघट में रहती हैं, उनकी शैक्षणिक क्षमता बहुत कम है।
Other participant, kindly mute your mic. Dr. A, something that Dr. A. Who's Dr. A? Kindly, yeah, kindly mute your mic, please.
सो राजस्थान में महिलाओं के सशक्तिकरण हेतु कई प्रयास किए गए हैं, जिसमें कई सारी योजनाएं इसमें चलाई गई है। सुकन्या समृद्धि योजना, उज्ज्वला, भामाशाह योजना, ये सारी योजनाएं महिलाओं के सशक्तिकरण के लिए चलाई गई है। लेकिन फिर भी महिलाओं को आज बहुत आवश्यकता है कि और भी ज्यादा उनके लिए, उनके सशक्तिकरण हेतु प्रयास किए जाए। राजस्थान में टोंक जिले जो अध्ययन में किया गया है, वो टोंक जिले से संबंधित अध्ययन किया गया है। राजस्थान में टोंक जिला बहुत ही निर्धनतम जिलों में माना जाता है। इसमें इसकी जनसंख्या 14,21,326 है। इसमें 22.33% जनसंख्या नगरीय तथा 45.5% जनसंख्या ग्रामीण है। इसमें 48% महिलाएं हैं। जिले की साक्षरता दर 69.47% है, जिसमें पुरुष साक्षरता दर 77.12% तथा महिला साक्षरता दर 45.45% है। जिले का क्षेत्रफल 7,194 है, जिसमें ग्रामीण 92% तथा 3% ही शहरी क्षेत्र है। इसमें महिलाओं की स्थिति अधिकतर पिछड़ी हुई है। इसमें महिलाओं की आजीविका या महिला सशक्तिकरण हेतु राष्ट्रीय ग्रामीण आजीविका मिशन के तहत स्वयं सहायता समूह संचालित किए गए हैं, जो कि महिलाओं के आर्थिक, राजनीतिक, सामाजिक सशक्तिकरण में भागीदारी निभाते हैं।
Okay, ma'am. Next one.
Thank you, ma'am. The next presenter is Dr. A. Thenmoi.
Yes, ma'am. Thenmoi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Please present.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I am Dr. Thenmoi.
In brief.
Actually, ma'am,
yes,
my name is next Mohammed Shafir. When will be my presentation?
Don't worry, sir, about that. This is randomly we choose. Definitely you will get chance
No
to
problem.
present it.
Just want to know my turn. That's all. I have no worries.
Ma'am, shall I present, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, thank you. The position of in the Dalit community. So once again, my topic is marginality and resistance of Dalit women in Burma's Sangadi. The position of women in the Dalit community is far more susceptible than that of non-Dalit women in our society. Dalit men who themselves are marginalized by the upper class and landowners in turn marginalized. The women folk at the home and the entire Dalit community is also under reigning patriarchal system. So Burma captures the double marginalization suffered by the Dalit women. The novel Sangadi does not stop with just an analysis of the plight and sufferings of Dalit women. In spite of all their sufferings and oppressions, Dalit women consider themselves more privileged than the upper caste women. In the novel Satru Sangadi, we get to hear the inner voice of Dalit women within their own circles, and women ridicule upper caste women. Burma, through the resistance of Dalit women, tried to transform the stigmatized identity of these women into an assertive individual and thus articulates a social change. So it has a pioneer of Dalit feminism. A Dalit feminist perspective in Tamil as well as uniquely placed in contributing to both the Dalit movement and to the women's movement. So Dalit women have very few potential of empowering themselves in a society that keeps them out of power, privilege and decorum of identity that are granted even is to a limited extent. To a women of other caste or class, Dalit women, however, show signs of enormous skill for endurance and contest. They not only dodge the restraining code forced upon them by upper caste or their own menfolk, they even confront or destabilize the same. They outshine in music and rhythm as a part of their basic physical movement. Every characteristic of their life is rendered into songs by the women. They adopt a singing as a strategy to break complementary from the exhaustion of hard labor, to commemorate important milestones in a women's life, to contribute and mark their existence in the social or religious functions where, by and large, they are kept away from the glare of publicity. So, in Sangati, Burma simultaneously represents the dominated existence, the resilience and dauntless spirit of Dalit women. The book renders a positive identity of Dalit women, highlighting their inner strength and vigor. It celebrates the grit and the determination of the Dalit women to stamp their existence of male-dominated caste and structured society. The ideals of Burma admires and applauds the Dalit women are not the traditional Tamil feminine ideals of Acham, it means a fear, Nanam, it means a shyness, Madam, it means simplicity or innocence, Payirpu, it means a modesty, but rather courage, fearlessness, independence, and self-esteem. And Burma celebrates her admiration with the pride and urge of the community to fight her liberation, drawing sustenance from these inborn qualities. As I might conclude, the Dalit women perhaps are powerful and emotional as they countenance problems such as doing hard labor to look after their family. They are subjected to embarrassment and sexual harassment in the hands of not only their men, but also those of other castes. In fact, they are trying to prevail over the economic difficulties, experiencing exploitations in the hands of upper caste men and women. So, through the resistance of the Dalit women, try to transform the stigmatized identity of these women into an assertive individual and that articulates a social change. Thank you, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Next presenter is Mohammad Shafiq from Tiruvallur University, Vellore.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I was asking because I have been waiting for from 12:30 skipping lunch. That's why I was intervening. Sorry for the inconvenience. The topic of
Please present very briefly, sir.
Yes, of course, no problem. The topic of my paper is new forms of fathering and possible intervention, state interventions in Kerala. And I'm a research scholar in the Department of English, Tiruvallur University, Tamil Nadu. And I'll be focusing on 3 points. That is, what is othering? What is the definition of othering? What are the existing forms of othering in Kerala or in India? And what are the new forms of othering in Kerala? And how Kerala overcame these forms of othering. So one form is what is the form of othering? Othering is a process of creating an attitude towards the other. For example, based on caste, or based on economic status, or based on color, or based on race. That is othering. So many forms of othering were existing in Kerala, for example, based on caste. So upper caste and lower caste, So the other was kept in a distance based on their caste or color, because based on their profession or occupation. So that was existing in Kerala, and there were many justifications also, because the higher caste believed that the lower caste will pollute their dignity. The higher caste dignity will be polluted because of their lower caste. And the social class, the rich poor othering was also there, because the rich believed that if the poor class come close to them, they will be bringing some diseases because they are working in these unhygienic circumstances. So these rich poor othering was also happening in there. But because of this pandemic, new form of othering was happening, that is called hygienic othering or pandemic othering, because they thought that this other individual will bring corona or COVID to this individual. So this pandemic or hygienic othering was happening. And how the state intervened in this, what are the possibilities for the Kerala or the state of Kerala to intervene and make solution for this pandemic othering or hygienic othering? The possibilities were the Kerala state was having high health index, high human development index, high literacy, high gross enrollment ratio. For example, in Kerala, the gross enrollment ratio for boys is 99.3 and for girls is 99%. So all these factors were combed together to create awareness and to wipe away fear and scare from the minds of the people. And now this health othering and the fear or the scare from the minds of the people are wiped away from the minds of the people by utilizing all these possibilities of the state of Kerala. So they utilized the literacy rate or the literacy of the people, the awareness of the people or the political awareness of the people, the health awareness of the people. All these possibilities were utilized to wipe away the hygienic othering or pandemic othering or the fear in the minds of the people because of the spread of the pandemic. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next participant, next presenter is Ushir Baburao Rahul from Chhatrapati.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj University, Maharashtra.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there is a name correction. My name is Ushir Rahul. My father name is Baburao.
Okay, sorry, sir. It is printed like that.
Yes, my name is Rahul. Okay, ma'am. I'm getting started because the less time. Ma'am, my topic name is COVID-19 pandemic impact on online pharmacy and offline pharmacy with reference to Mumbai region. The purpose of the study being conducted to determine impact on COVID-19 outbreak on online pharmacy and offline pharmacy in the Mumbai region. And for this study, my objectives are to look at the connection between the COVID-19 and the pharmacy store industry, to examine the elements that influences consumers' decision to buying the drugs in the online pharmacy, analyze the factors that clients desire, including both real and virtual pharmacy, to examine the effect of either the COVID-19 illness impeding along with the traditional and cyber pharmacist, to distinguish the both traditional and cyber pharmacy before and throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. So the research methodology I am used, the descriptive statistics of the research population presented in the first survey questions. So what is the nationality, age, credentials, relationship status, wealth, employment, and the computer spending, all are included. The second section to includes the varieties of the queries aimed to determine customer preferences and purchasing patterns in the context, that is the sample responded are 250 specimens. So in that the specimens we are taking the age and national wise. I'm got some findings. The number of participants is pursued by the promotional codes and pharmaceutical purchase information. Somewhere are quite significant when obtaining medication from online base. From a surgeon, ambulance, acquaintance, or family may suggest certain opinion. Company that is a highly significant consideration when obtaining medication from an online purchase. And next interpretation is the previous to the COVID-19 incidence of buying medication from the online pharmacy was relatively low. But after COVID-19 pandemic impact, it is a highly, which is a 1600% increases after the COVID-19 pandemic. The number of the internet pharmacy website included comprehensive data of the drugs such as the negative impacts, mechanism involved, maximum doses, so on. So per the survey result, throughout the knowledge more about the drug influences and procurement of the prescription from generic medicine. So service quality, that is the CRM process is there, is software that helps the firms strong influencer partnerships. It really an effective way to generating consumer loyalty. Consumer service is growing more crucial market rivalry, the key stakeholders expands. So since the introduction of the COVID-19 pandemic, Marketing skills and expectation have due to the advance. People are increasingly fascinated with service and goods that are supplied absent face-to-face interaction. The bulk of the online pharmaceuticals item delivered via contextual technology. According to study, the result instant drug efficient delivery expert convincing customer to acquire medication from online purchase. So overall, the conclusion is that I'm taking the data from the only Mumbai region. The 250 respondent is likely utilize online based as well as to reduce the physical interaction with the offline pharmacies, and then purchase frequently rising through the epidemic. Only emergency cases they taken the medicine from the offline pharmacy only. Otherwise, the most of the offer wise they are taking the medicines from the only online. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Now I think the time is.
Now we
Just
are
will take
eager to.
Yeah, ma'am.
Now
Yeah.
I request Dr. Vikas Ubale sir, the chairperson of today's session, to express his valuable thoughts.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Actually, first, I apologize those present who did not get chance to present their paper. Don't worry about that. You will give a certificate. The committee will provide the certificate definitely. First, I congratulations to all presentee from different states for presenting their paper in very intellectual manner. Mostly the Sarla Devi, she talked about that the global warming. Then Harpale Dattatreya also present very nicely. His PPT PowerPoint presentation is also very nice, and he just means examine the Palghar district socio-economic culture and the tourism fact. Next participant is that Seema Prajapati. She's also talk about that the Mahila Sakshmikaran, and she talk about that the संविधान का प्रावधान में महिला और पुरुष की समानता, and she take some Tongjila, very nice presentations too. Dr. A, I'm not means write her name, full name. She also talk about that the Dalit community and non-Dalit community, there is a big issue in today's era also, and she highlight that some very true fact in this modern scenario. Then also the Muhammad Shafi is a person of literature. He also talk about the othering in Kerala. He talk about that the different caste otherings and color otherings, and means these are all that in my point of view, it is inequalities, and after the inequalities or othering, how is means present in Kerala. He also present very well, and I think Rahul, I think his name is that Rahul. Yeah, he also talk about that the online and offline pharmacy. Okay, overall, all presently explain very well. They talk about that the means present issues, and their presentations is go to very well manner. I again congratulate to all, and I would like to thank all dignitaries who give me this opportunity to preside over today's. Mostly the Santosh Mane sir, I am very thankful to give me opportunity to preside me here for this session, and Mansi ma'am also thank you. You also anchoring very well and to support my session too. Thank you all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of wisdom. Now, I would like to call Dr. Vishwas Mane, sir, the coordinator of IQAC Jawahar College, Anadur, to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, this is last part of the e-conference, which is titled Recent Trends, Challenges and Issues in Science, Social Science and Languages for Sustainable Development. This e-conference is in the memory of Honorable S.N. Allure Guruji, who is the founder of our institute, who was one of the ideal personality. Now, first of all, on behalf of all participants, on behalf of organizing committee, on behalf of Principal Jawahar Art Science Commerce College Anadur, and on behalf of Shikshan Prasarak Mandal Anadur, I will first express my sincere thanks towards the guests and resource persons. Now, first of all, I express my thanks to Dr. Prashant Amrutkar sir, who is the inaugurator of this e-conference. I express my sincere thanks to Professor Lal Mervin Dharmasiri for keynote address. I express my thanks to Dr. Praveen Saptarshi for his valuable speech. I am very much thankful to my friend Madan Suryavanshi, who has chaired the first inaugural session. Now I am thankful to those resource persons in plenary session. First of all, Dr. F.M. Nadaf and second one is Dr. Uttam Patil. I am thankful to both of them. I am also thankful to the chairman of plenary session, Dr. Sanjay Patil, and my friend Shiv Prasad Kanade. I am also thankful to the chairman of technical session, Dr. Rupavate sir and Dr. Vikas Ubale sir. Friends, on behalf of all organizing committee, on behalf of Jawahar Art Science Commerce College, I am thankful to all participants who has made this event successful. I am also express my sincere thanks to my friend Satish Mane. Because of him, we can do this e-conference very smoothly. I am thankful to Hode sir and Swami Madam, my colleague, for anchoring this e-conference. I am also thankful to Dr. Malinath Langde sir, one of the organizing secretary and vice principal of our college. I am thankful to the convener who make the efforts for making the conference successful, Dr. Maruti Musande, Dr. Rajeshekar Varshetti, Dr. Sunil Rajput, and Dr. Somunde sir. I am also thankful to all coordinators, Dr. Mr. Dayanand Kamble sir, Dr. Pulchand Dudbate, Dr. Sudhakar Sangle, Dr. Mahesh Kamble, Mr. Veerbhadra Swami, and Mr. Nagnath Kabar. And lastly, I am thankful to Professor, the principal of our college, who has given the chance, who has given us opportunity to conduct this, to organize this e-conference. Thank you. Once again, thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mane sir. That concludes the remarkable, memorable and valuable event organized by IQAC Jawahar College Anadur and Global Village Foundation Solapur. We will conclude today's remarkable event with the national anthem. I would like to request all the participants to stand up for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
All the participants within 20 minutes will send feedback on WhatsApp group and your email ID within 20 minutes. Please, all participants leave on this video meeting.